From skins that never made it into the game to game modes that were removed from the game, here are 50 things about Valorant that you probably don't remember. Starting off, did you know that Valorant actually removed a bundle and then brought it back years later? This bundle was the Imperium bundle, and it was actually initially released in the beta version of Valorant and got re-released only 6 months ago. The new version is quite a bit better than the old one though, so it's safe to say that we got an upgrade. But did you know that Reyna released being able to buy 4 soul orbs instead of the current 2? This was broken for obvious reasons, and this was a time period of Valorant that I don't want to go back to. Though something I do want back is Valorant skins from the beta. The Reaver set looked incredible in beta, and the Lux bundle even had a red variant which looked great. There were also some skins like the Ronin Classic, the Ronin Sheriff, and the Ronin Operator that never made it to the live game. The live game did include only 4 maps on its release though. Do you remember what they were? If not, here's all the maps that were released with the full game. Ascent, which was released with the game, Split, Haven, and Bind. While we're speaking of Bind, you actually used to be able to open the teleporters from the outside using either Yoru's decoy, Raze's boombot, or even Killjoy's alarm bot. This was pretty insane and was patched quickly. And another thing you probably forgot about is how laggy that your internet is. If that's the case, you need to try out Exit Lag. Just open up the website and create an account really fast, and then go to the download tab to download the client. Then open up the client and choose whatever game you're playing and select the region of the server that you are personally playing on and click apply routes, and just like that, Exit Lag will use its smart routing technology to reduce your latency and ping issues. I was getting over 100 ping to every server, but after using Exit Lag, my ping went down to 10 to North Virginia servers. And they're currently running a promotion where if you sign up for 2 months, you get 1 month free and a chance to win free stuff every week. So join Exit Lag from the link in the description or pinned comment. Now let's get right back to the video. Something else you won't remember is that Valorant's highest rank, Radiant, actually used to go under a different name. Believe it or not, the pinnacle of Valorant was actually called Valorant, and every other rank also had a different name other than Immortal. If you've been playing Valorant for years, you'll know that the classic used to be insanely accurate. Like, you could literally jumping right click someone across the map. It's had a bunch of nerfs since then, and it isn't what it used to be, but it's still pretty busted. Speaking about guns, does anyone remember the Bucky meta? The Bucky was the most broken in the game for months. Not only was it powerful at close range, but it was even strong at mid to long range. The right click was one-shotting people from across the map, and this was probably the least fun meta in my opinion. This one was a bit more fun though. When the black market butterfly knife got introduced to Valorant, a new Easter egg was added to the game. The knife had a 1 in 1,000 chance to have a sapphire or fade pattern in a round, reminiscent of the Counter-Strike skins. There's only 1 in 1,000 chance you remember this next one though. Do you know who the original 10 Valorant agents were? In case you don't, I got you. The original 10 Valorant agents consisted of Jett, Phoenix, Viper, Cypher, Brimstone, Sova, Omen, Breach, Raze, and Sage. Speaking of Sage, she literally had her own meta during the beta. In the early days of Valorant, she was needed in practically every team for a long time due to her heal being vastly more powerful, and her wall was a lot stronger and was able to be placed much further away. Much like Sage's wall, the candy cane melee can actually be broken as well. Popular content creator Valkyrie swung the candy cane over 300 times before managing to finally break it. Let's be real though, everyone who owns the candy cane has definitely done this before. Valorant has quite a few game modes nowadays, but if you haven't been playing for a long time, you'll know that we didn't even have Spike Rush at one point. All we had was unrated and ranked, which is why most Valorant players are in the insane asylum. The first Valorant bundle that shocked the world was the Elder Flame skin bundle. If you're around when this bundle came out, you'll know this bundle sparked a lot of conversations. People thought the Valorant design team were taking skins too far and that the bundle was overpriced, and at $100 for the whole bundle, I'd have to agree. Valorant's agent icons haven't always looked as clean as they do today. They actually used to look a lot worse. When these first got updated, I thought it was a bit of a weird change, but the new ones have grown on me. If you play ranked at all, you know dying an operator can be pretty frustrating at times, but let me take you back a couple of years to when it only costed 4,500 credits and it had a faster fire rate than it currently does. And something you haven't remembered to do yet is pressing that subscribe button, so do that to keep up to date with all of my new videos. Valorant actually had a secret codename before it was released. Do any of you remember the name it was given? If you said Project A, you'd be correct. Riot tends to give their new games under development codenames until they're released. If you type in Google Riot Project, you'll probably see a bunch of letters and game concepts pop up. When Valorant did finally come out, there was only one way to get access to the game, and that was by watching Twitch streams of it and praying. This caused Valorant to break streaming records during the time, and the hype around the game was the highest it's ever been. The game peaked at 1.73 million viewers, which almost broke the League of Legends record. And something I personally don't like to remember is Breach and Sky having 3 flashes each. This was a miserable time to be playing. Half of every game was spent staring at your screen flash. This got changed over time, but I promise Riot was not in a rush to do it. Did you know Viper actually had one of her voice lines removed from the game? The entire voice line was just come. And I guess it got removed for obvious reasons, but it was pretty funny while it was in the game. And the Valorant main menu hasn't changed a crazy amount, but it's probably changed enough so you might have forgotten it. Personally, I still prefer the old main menu compared to the new one due to its raw simplicity, but that's just me. If you've been playing Valorant for a while, you'll know that before March of 2022, the yellow crate on the B side of Icebox used to actually be slanted diagonally. And now it's just straight. I thought the slanted version caused a lot more chaos though, and I personally like that. Something you may or may not know or remember is that every Valorant map is actually based on real life locations. Sunset is based in LA, Split in Tokyo, Icebox in Bennett Island, Russia, Bind is in Morocco, Ascent is in Italy, Lotus is in southern India, and Breeze is based in the Bermuda Triangle. Speaking of Breeze, there was a time where you could use Yoru's teleport to get inside of the pyramids on a site and shoot people through it. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Just dying to people you can't see. I'm glad that this one went away though. Something else I'm glad went away was the Frenzy meta. The gun's flawless moving accuracy paired with its crazy fire rate, and it used to be cheaper so you could actually buy light shields with it as well. Now we talked a bit about Valorant's game modes already, but did you know we used to have more of them? The game mode Snowball Fight was released in late 2020, and it was honestly some of the most fun I've had playing Valorant, and it hasn't been in the game for a long time now. That's not the only game mode Valorant has introduced and gotten rid of though. We used to have another one called Replication, and the way it worked was everyone chose an agent and one random agent got selected. Whichever one got selected was the one that your entire team would be playing. The game mode was pretty fun and chaotic, and I'm not sure why Riot removed this. Have you ever queued up a rank game and wondered what your teammates' ranks are? Well, you used to not have to worry about that, as everyone's rank used to show while looking at the scoreboard. I really like this being in the game, but I can see why they got rid of it. But what do you guys think? If you're an OG Valorant player, you'll remember that a lot of the Radianite boxes around the maps were originally orange instead of green. The boxes ended up changing color depending on which world the map is based on the Valorant lore. And for a short period of time, there were some agents just sitting in the range chilling. Cypher was leaning on a wall, Fade was looking at a blackboard accompanied by Killjoy's alarm bot, and Brimstone was just sitting down in his office.
Find me in the range. What the fuck?
In a game of Valorant, your credits max out at 9,000, but this wasn't always the case. You used to be able to max out at 16,000 credits, and this made coming back in games pretty impossible to do at times, which is probably why it was changed. Yoru's clone is another thing that's changed. On his release, he actually used to have a decoy that's just worked as mimicking his footsteps rather than an entire clone of himself. Though on the bright side, he did have 2 steps of footsteps he could use, but the clone is still miles better. Viper's ultimate hasn't always worked well in your team's favor. It used to cause everyone to take decay damage, including teammates. This obviously got patched, but if you remember this one, you've been playing for a long time. And if you're one of the newer players to Valorant, you might not know that Ascendant was added to the game on June 22nd of 2022. This became the rank after Diamond, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about whether adding Ascent was good for the game or not. Something that definitely wasn't good for the game was how broken Jett used to be though. Jett had 3 smokes that lasted 7 seconds, 2 updrafts, her dash was instant and could be used whenever, and right clicking with her knives would regenerate them all if she got a frag. Thinking back on Jett's old kit makes me realize how insanely broken she once was. But if you thought pre-nerf Jett was bad, she had nothing on the chamber meta. He had 2 global trips, teleports you could use basically halfway across the map instantly on a 20-second cooldown, and his ultimate might as well have been a semi-auto with how fast it was shooting. Prime Chamber was absolutely disgusting, and playing against him was so boring. And if you ever got tired of using your gun to break the doors on Ascent, for a while you were able to just throw a raise satchel at them and break them instantly. This could set you up for a pretty free kill while you would do this, and it also worked with other abilities like Yoru's decoy and Killjoy's alarm bot. Killjoy's ultimate, on the other hand, was actually broken pretty easily a long time ago. It used to only take 1 raise satchel to break it. Playing against the Raze who knew how to break all of the common Killjoy ults was pretty brutal at this time, but thankfully Killjoy's ultimate ended up getting buffed. Something else you might not remember is that their practice range actually has an entire parkour course. This course was pretty popular in the early days of Valorant, but it's never really talked about anymore. And finally, there was a point where you could literally stare at flashes and not get blinded. Yeah, NVIDIA broke Valorant that day. They added a filter you could use to basically turn yourself off from being flashed. This was fixed really fast, but people were abusing it for a short time that it was around. The popularity of the pop-in swing has kind of died down as of late, but basically it's a wide swing that consists of wide swinging and letting your enemy whiff on you to embarrass them, and making yourself look good at the exact same time. If you've ever been pop-in swung, make sure you leave a like on the video. Moving on, you used to be able to place Cypher's camera on his cages midair. This made the camera entirely invisible and there was nothing the enemies could do except pray. Another thing you probably forgot is that you could literally make the spike bounce back and forth on top of the crate in mid on Icebox. It's pretty funny, and I forgot it was possible until my friend sent me a video of it. But did you know that Omen used to have a way more human look than he does now? Back in the early days of Valorant, Omen used to have 2 eyes instead of the 3 slashes running down his face, and much different clothing. In 2022, there was a chance that when you pulled out your knife, it was just going to be tiny. One round, your knife is a normal size, and the next, it looks like it belongs to a dwarf. People were calling it the tiny knife anytime they saw it. In early 2023, it was found out you could animation cancel Jet's dash by throwing a smoke at the same time as a dash, hence pulling out your gun a lot faster than you usually would, and this wasn't abused by many, but for people who knew how to abuse this bug, it made a huge difference. We've talked about a few metas already, but there really wasn't anything worse than the Stinger meta. I think we all forgot about this one due to the pain it caused everyone. The Stinger could literally laser beam players across the entire map, especially if you were ADS, and it was extremely unfair. Yoru for a time was the most fun agent in the game, and it's all because of the gritty swing. Shout out to my boy Ziptie for popularizing the gritty swing, where you had to pull out Yoru's flash, aim at the ground while moving sideways, and it resulted in a hilarious movement. On the map Ascent, there's a little Easter egg sitting in the middle. It's a bench with Tom Kench's face from League of Legends on it. Finally, did you know that there was an agent that was leaked and supposed to come to Valorant but never did? His name was Shatter, and looking at his ability icons and names, Clone Explode and Decoy, it seems like he was the original version of Yoru. And if you didn't remember these things, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed.